Exotic cars at Prius Prices. That's today on Road Testament. Welcome to Road Testament. Today we're talking about exotics you can get for Prius Prices. Alex Roy is here. And also Eric Rivera. You may not know him, but you may, if you watch GT Academy, you definitely know him. GT Academy, Alex, you want to, we were talking about this before, you want to do your thing?
Well, you know, for all those people who say that there's no relation between video games and real life driving, and that we know nothing about driving, you were one of the blessed few selected by Sony, if I'm correct, to graduate from being a champion GT5 player to actually racing real cars and potentially racing for Sony in a real car.
Yeah.
But you can't tell us who won.
No, and he's racing under a pseudonym, so it's kind of awkward.
I see.
Nobody's allowed to say anything.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Camera
So
back
there's
to
somebody
Spinelli.
out there, there's somebody out there racing right now
Yes.
who won. We just don't know who it is.
It's one of the top 16, and that's all we're allowed to share.
It might even be you.
It might even be me.
Also, it's Spike TV, 11:30 on Thursdays, right? Is that how it works?
And you know, different time Eastern, Pacific, all that stuff.
Probably 3 hours difference, right?
Yeah, exactly. I'm Eastern, so I don't care. Whatever.
Yeah.
Those Pacific guys, whatever.
So don't forget, @Drive on Twitter, and I mentioned that because you guys had a lot of really good ideas for today's show coming in on Twitter.
Let's roll it.
Let's roll it.
Yes.
Road Testament. Isn't there a car here?
Exotic
Okay.
cars.
So exotic cars. Let's first define, as we leave this up here for a moment, what exactly is an exotic car to you, Alex?
Anything with a Forza rating above 600?
That's a good one.
Exotic car?
I call it anything rare, interesting, collectible, fast, whatever. Something that makes it stand out.
So it doesn't have to be expensive.
Doesn't have to
And
be
it doesn't
expensive.
have to run.
Doesn't have to be new. Doesn't have to be old.
It doesn't have to run. Yeah,
doesn't
I
have
like
to
that
run.
one. But
It could be on blocks.
Well, yeah. For the sake of this, so this is about $30,000. These are exotic cars that you won't see every day.
That you can
get
buy for 30
grand.
That's
right.
what we're talking
Right.
about.
Instead of buying a Prius, you can get. What are we looking at right
An
here?
exotic.
An exotic.
This is a 1990 or 91 Alpina B10 bi-turbo. I mean, this is the shizzle nizzle. This is the business end.
it?
Okay,
Yes.
This is the bell end of what BMW was making back in 1991.
Absolutely.
So basically, this was an E34
Yeah.
M5, not M5. This is
No,
just an
E34
E34 5
5
series
Yep.
with a worked.
I think it's got like
Inline six?
380 or 90 horsepower. It'll go 181 miles an hour. It's Alpina. It's a manual. I mean, and you can get this for like what? Like
So we were
18
looking.
or 19?
Yeah, we were looking at Bring a Trailer. There've been 3 of them. Now you have to go to Canada to get them, and if you want to register it in the States, you have to wait 3 years because this is a 1990. It's got to have the 25-year rule.
That's only
right?
3 years though.
So you
That's
got
not too
3
bad for
years.
something like
But
this.
3 of these things have gone on BringATrailer.com. They've found them, and I think a couple of them were eBay, and one of them was Craigslist for under 30 grand. One of them was 29. One of them had just went for 30, and one of them with real high mileage went for like 17.
Mind you, this is all in Canada.
Yeah, all in that.
Mind
Canadian
you, if
country.
you're
Yes.
buying a used 3 Series instead of this thing, you are out of your frackin' mind.
True story.
So, by the way, we are kind of ignoring the elephant in the room with these things, and that is maintenance and stuff.
No, we're not ignoring it because
It doesn't exist.
it's not because if you're even talking about it,
Yeah.
you can't
I'm just
afford to
saying,
own
'cause
this car.
exactly, I
Let's
don't
go to
care.
the next car because this is a topic that varies car to car.
Okay,
Yeah.
so here's one under 30, and pretty. They were going in the 20s, and they've kind of bounced up a little bit. But the Lotus Elise,
This is the Yamaha engine, right?
Toyota.
Toyota. So
The Camry
how-
engine.
What's this? I mean,
No, it's the 1.8. It's
Oh,
the
okay.
the Europa has
Which one was-
the Camry engine.
Oh, okay.
what could this cost to fix? I mean, like what? Talk to me about cost of ownership in this thing.
I mean, first of all, the problem you get into is insurance. Cost to replace is a little bit high because a lot of the parts are a little bit exotic to replace. But engine-wise, yeah, I mean, just basic engine.
It's probably pretty
stuff is
reliable.
it's pretty
drivetrain.
reliable. Yeah.
But owning this in a major city is probably a no-no because the rims, the suspension is going to get banged up.
Well, it's a Lotus. It's super light. And it's real harsh to drive. I mean, but if you live in a place where you've got a long commute on windy, smooth roads, there's nothing better.
I'm also going to make a suggestion, which is, if your budget's 30, and this costs 28, you have $2,000 to play with, go to Craigslist and buy a $500 Accord, and that's your backup car.
Yeah, well, yeah, you can do that,
Yeah,
sure.
so
story.
the next car.
But also, the other one more thing on that.
We're going really heavy on the Lotus
gas,
sauce
by the way,
here.
gas mileage with the Elise. I mean, if gas
We're not
goes up
comparing
higher.
Prius gas mileage. It's just
Not quite,
the
but
price.
it's pretty.
Whose
decent.
idea was this?
This actually came off of Twitter. This
hello.
was off our Twitter feed. The Lotus. Come on, the
I'm
Esprit,
inclined to agree because
Lotus Esprit V8.
yeah.
What's wrong with this
Okay,
car?
this actually is the first real exotic on the list because it doesn't necessarily run.
Yes.
And it is an exotic.
And it's a wedge shape.
Let me say, in 1999, I went to a dealership. It was like a Porsche consignment shop. They had one of these for $29,995.
There you go.
And I went and I test drove it. And the test drive began and ended at the curb when I got and started it, and the clutch cable broke.
Classy.
And they took the car away, and that was the end of
It
that.
happens. Things
Well,
happen.
you got to focus on the positive. It's a really cool wedge shape. Last of the cool pop-up headlights.
The last of the interceptors.
Well, as we'll find out, not totally the last of the pop-up headlights, because there is the obvious car that we are leaving. I'm just going to mention it now. There's an obvious.
Mercury Capri?
Yeah, that's
Oh,
the
shit.
one. No, there's an obvious answer to this question we're going to
boy.
leave to the end. But go ahead.
Cool.
Let's move on.
All right.
Oh my
Yes.
God.
Twin cam.
Okay, let's hear it.
Twin
What-
cam Europa.
Alex.
It looks like a midget's hearse.
Come on.
I'm sorry.
It looks like a
By the
Popemobile
way-
Superleggera.
Seriously, it's like.
I love the Europa.
It's like the Tea Party's anti-abortion car. It's just like awful. It's like.
All right, so wait, no, it's a little awkward in the back, but the Europa is a great car. You're going to get into a twin cam Lotus for probably half of your $30,000 budget.
It's a Europa Mino.
If you were
one
to
way of
put,
looking at
yeah,
it.
I mean, except then you wouldn't be able to get to the engine. I don't know.
You know what?
It's the first vertically mounted.
Well,
Oh, yeah, that is true.
here's
vertically-
I'll give you another reason to get one of these. That Sports Car Digest magazine has said that this is one of the most collectible cars for the money.
It's just.
Best upside potential for collectors.
I think for me, it's just a weird cool factor with it. Just
Yeah.
the different kind of shape. It's got that weird thing in the back, but it's not a Lotus Amino.
It weighs
But
like
It
nothing,
weighs like nothing.
and it
Twin
steers.
cam.
And you want to talk about probably the best steering car of its generation.
I can't. The dude cannot abide.
All right, next. Okay, well here's one you certainly must
Yeah.
buy. So with the Lotus theme comes the Caterham Super 7.
Unanimous agreement that this car is freaking awesome.
Okay, so an exotic, obviously it's exotic because you can't drive it in the winter, although Alex would drive it in the winter.
And it was also driven by Patrick McGowan in The Prisoner opening credits.
Yes.
Yes. That is
very
actually
true.
that is actually how I found out about this car.
Yeah.
It's just.
I had no clue what it was.
It's money, 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 shizzle nizzle, up the wazoo.
Right.
Yep.
Yours and mine, break your arm twice. Awesome car.
So can we
Yeah.
say that the best of all of these sort of Lotus area vehicles we've shown, this is the one?
Absolutely.
Unanimous agreement.
You drive this thing anywhere. You have Veyron level pull at Prius pricing.
And good gas mileage compared to, well, a Veyron.
All right, so
Right. But
well,
it's
yeah.
awesomely
So we
cool.
may have a winner right in the middle of the pack.
And it has a roof. Like you can put a roof on it, right?
Yeah, kind
But
of.
it has a place you could fashion a roof.
It's
so it's
not-
an all-weather car.
It's not the kind of roof that's gonna keep really the elements out or anything, but
It's a roof that keeps on giving.
it stops giving. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh.
Yeah. So the Brits also gave us the Aston Martin DB7.
Oh yeah.
No. This is.
Why not?
But for the money,
Is
for
the
the
aspect
money,
ratio off on this picture?
possibly.
Maybe just a little.
The aspect ratio. Well, all right. It's a weird 3/4 view, but it is free of licensing restraints. So that's why we use this one.
Yes.
But seriously,
How much is this car?
30 grand.
There's a reason for that.
Well, the reason is that maintenance. Well, all right. First of all, you're not going to get the
Yeah.
V12. You're going to get the straight 6.
Yeah.
Really got you get. How you doing? You all right?
Go on.
So you're going to get the 6, right? It's
I don't know about this one.
it's very luxurious. It's not quite as well put together as the later Astons.
What year is this car? 90s?
97, 98, 99.
Yeah, right around that.
Bad
range.
years, huh?
Well, you know, look, this was
It's
Aston
parked at a car
starting
show
to get its act together.
next to a pink Rolls from the bad years as well. So you know it's.
Well, all right. So do you want? All right. So I paired this with another one.
Okay.
Oh, it looks very similar.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
But
does, doesn't it?
a couple of years newer, you can get the Cambio Corso.
You could get
Gran Turismo.
for 30. You can actually
Maserati.
just get
Yes.
a Quattroporte, like a '94 Quattroporte,
Well, that's the thing. But and you will still get the Ferrari V8.
and you get 4 doors, and it looks great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not.
not a big fan of the looks. I preferred it once it got a little bit later. Like the headlights do look kind of like robot models.
Well, that's the problem is that they're starting to look a little bit dated.
Terrible, like in fact.
Yeah.
Like Ferrari, remember maybe not the 550 looks a little
550
bit
was
more
good.
updated.
Before that, 348.
340. Well, no, I'm thinking of the
Mondial.
the 456.
I love the 456. 456 has nothing in common with
All right,
this
so
car.
456 doesn't look as dated, but they all. Come on, Eric, seriously.
I'm backing you up on this one a little bit.
Right?
Like,
They're starting to look
see it.
dated.
I see it.
But you can't get the Ferrari for Prius money. You can get the Maserati.
Right.
Yep.
Right. Well.
All right, and I don't know if you guys would, and you're gonna have to.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so this is another one.
Come on.
From the Twitter feed. You can get a really good 30 grand 308.
308.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, you can't get a 328 GTS. Can you? That's like 40.
Yeah, I mean, it's about 40 for a good one.
But you know something? This car, it's just because of Magnum PI.
Oh, totally.
It just annihilates everything else.
I was trying not to bring that up.
You can't not bring it up.
This car will not give you that mustache, but it still has the cool factor.
You say it can't give you that much stash?
But wait a minute. Here's the. All right. So, but like Ferraris are great, but then there's the downside, right? The maintenance is catastrophic,
Not
and the
true.
other problem.
There's
Wait,
a lot
wait.
of Ford parts. It got the Ford mirror.
Oh,
This
yeah, a
one's
lot. Not
as bad-
enough.
Ford
Not
mirrors.
enough Ford mirrors. Not
It
enough.
holds reliability
Right. When you need a
solely.
clutch, right? When you need a clutch, you still have to. Actually, there's a lot of good resources online to teach you how to change stuff like the clutch. But wait a minute. And granted, the 308 is probably one of the easier Ferraris to maintain. But here's the problem. It's not that great a car. Of course, it sounds awesome.
slow.
It's slow, and then you jam your feet into the wheel well to drive it. It's like really narrow.
That weird Italian sort of period position.
They catch on fire once in a while, but
Okay,
not a whole lot.
Ferraris do that. That's their flamboyant nature.
I predict that this car will become like what Musto's business is. What does he call it? Pro stock.
Pro touring.
Oh.
I bet you that in like 10, 20 years,
Once the price drops,
there's going to be a business around taking these and turning them into monster street cars.
I think we should do that right now.
Because this is the Ferrari
Yeah.
everybody wants.
By the way, the coolest 308s I've ever seen are the rally ones. Have you ever seen the
Oh,
rally
yeah,
308s?
yeah.
They're
Oh, yeah.
so awesome.
Could you
So
imagine that became a new staple rally car?
I
like
think
amateur rally car?
that would be sick.
It'd be
Yeah,
awesome,
totally.
awesome.
Yeah,
Agreed.
and it wouldn't be that expensive to do.
Yep.
All right, so Americans. Now,
Is this an exotic?
well, now, if you ask Chevrolet, they would say no because they didn't want to consider the ZR1, the C4 ZR1 as an exotic car.
Yeah.
However, I would argue that the engine alone, the Lotus-built motor, the 5.7 liter, 400, and this is the first gen, so it'll be like 400 horsepower, double overhead cam, 4-cam, 32 valve, blah blah blah. Where the hell am I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The break your fracking arm edition. That's what this is. The ZR1 is always the break your fracking arm
Break your
edition.
fracking
The
arm.
sad part about this car is, I remember specifically somebody stealing a ZR1 and taking it on some horrendous crash on cops
Well, because
and
yeah.
disintegrated.
Yeah.
That is why I remember this car. But after I realized that it's more than just the one that got crashed on cops,
Yeah.
there's a lot to it.
Yeah.
There's, the engine.
There's
There's really cool
This
suspension technology.
totally wipes the floor with the technology of its day.
And
So-
the technology of a Ferrari 308.
Oh, yeah, well, there
I
you
mean,
go.
it's
It's a few years later, but yeah.
it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because
Its selling point, of course, was the electronic dashboard. Like, that is what everybody remembers.
its selling
Wait.
point was the TV commercial for it, where you've never seen dun
Anything
dun
Yeah,
like this before. Right. That was the
84.
84 one. Ian, go to the cross section.
Yes.
Now seriously,
The fact that they bothered to make a cross section for it shows
Right.
there's at least a little bit of a thought
Right,
process
right.
behind it.
I mean,
Actually, the GM was sort of crazy with these cross sections back in the day. They wanted to show everything.
Yeah.
They were hiring the cross-section guy.
Yeah.
right. So
Yeah.
I mean, Lotus designed it. Mercury Marine built the motor, engine. I'm sorry, you know, it's not an electric motor. I know people get all bent out of shape.
Anyway.
But you were saying something about the Long Island use of the
Not
rims.
necessarily the Long Island.
Oh, just I'm
use.
sorry, it wasn't just Long
It
Island.
is sort of the new youth car culture use. Well, not particularly the ZR1, but this generation Corvette in particular. Those rims, if you stretch some tires over them because they're enormous wide rims, and chrome them out and polish them, they lower them onto like an old VW Beetle or a VW Golf, and they look, well, I
It's
think it looks nice.
hella
but-
flush.
Hella fresh. But you know what? It's question. Yeah, Alex agrees. That's kind of questionable.
Well, I'm saying that you've got an orphaned Corvette.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like, you know, it's,
You're right. That's true. It is, but you know, but you can get one for 30 grand, and that's
Sacrifice
and you
the
can get
life.
you can get the best one for 30 grand. That's the thing.
yeah.
Anyway, moving on.
Onward.
All right.
Yeah.
So this is the answer to the question.
This is everyone's answer.
Yeah, this is everyone's
And you
answer.
can get a 91 and 94-ish NSX for
93, 90.
25 to 30
Oh yeah.
fun-ish.
30. 30.
30 fun-ish.
Funish.
Yeah. It depends what year, what model.
But
Yeah.
the old ones, I mean, the back, I mean, I really wanted to buy one of these at one time and researched a bunch. And the early ones were only 5-speed.
Yeah.
And, but they were cool. And
And only 270 horsepower, so they're
Yes.
Not
not.
too much.
Not,
But
not
Enough to get yourself into trouble.
so much was aluminum in this car.
that's the
Yeah.
thing.
I mean, the seat frames were aluminum.
Yeah.
I mean, so much. And if you can get a car that's in good running order, because there were a bunch of problems that happened always early in the car's life.
Yeah.
But if they were sorted out, you were fine. I mean, 30 will get you into a healthy, happy NSX.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, the only problem is repair cost, replacement cost, because of the aluminum frame.
Yeah.
Can be super expensive
Well,
if you do
right.
any bending
So
or anything.
basically, don't crash.
Don't crash
Don't
it.
crash.
That's one final thing on the cool factor for the NSX. We talked about, you know, the commercial for the Corvette and how it had that sort of weird appeal. Then we also had the Magnum PI mobile.
Right.
So it
Yeah.
had that. This had the Wolf from freaking Pulp Fiction.
Oh, that's right.
Like,
Is that true?
yeah.
It's
Oh,
true.
yeah,
Yeah, Harvey
yeah.
That was the
Keitel.
Wolf.
Yeah.
I'm on my way. Pulls up in
The
that red
NSX,
NSX.
Yeah, exactly.
it was
And
the coolest
and
thing.
also Ayrton Senna personally
course.
helped design
Right.
the
And-
chassis
And
in this thing.
there's that video of him doing that insane lap on Suzuka
Yeah.
in his leather driving shoes. And there was just so many cool things about this car. You can't go wrong.
That's
Yeah.
the thing. I mean, there is, you know, it is the thinking man's exotic.
Yeah.
It is. It's yeah.
And that's it.
We did leave out
Okay,
a couple of cars.
go ahead.
There were honorable mentions.
There were some honorable mentions. We did leave out, yeah.
The Iso Revolta Fidia
Come on.
4-door one-off.
Bring a trailer.
By the way, yeah, bring a
Go to
trailer.
bringatrailer.com.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna name two cars. The first one, obviously, I mean, you want exotic.
Okay.
Citroen SM.
Of course, because you own one.
I own one, Maserati engined, Citroen body.
Yeah. And it's under 30 grand.
And for 30 grand, you can have a mint condition car. I paid 20 for mine. I put 5 into it.
Yep.
And it's got, again, Veyron level pull on the street in LA. People, you come up in this thing,
Yeah. Which because you look like a
mean,
a French
you look
like heroin
you look like-
dealer in the 70s.
like you own
Exactly.
bigwinner.com is your domain. Like everybody knows it.
You are
like,
one aviator
yeah, it's
sunglasses
like
pair away
Yeah.
from being like the coolest
you
French
you can
bagpiper.
wear every shirt.
Exactly, yeah.
Every shirt you're afraid to buy at Urban Outfitters with a print, you can buy that shirt
It's
now.
a difficult. But wait a minute, it's a difficult car to drive because it's like driving a gondola. We were talking. It's like
It's
a
like
gondola.
driving a gondola.
Because it does
Yeah.
this
Off
weird
the
kind of.
Rockaways.
Sort of motion.
Yeah, because of the air shocks, it doesn't quite. It doesn't yaw like a normal car. It
That's
actually.
a different thing, though.
Yeah,
Like,
it's-
that's their system.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
the part from the
that's. I mean, you just got to get
Yeah,
used
you
to
don't
that.
steer it, you rudder it. So, and
certainly
the other
rudder it.
car, which is not, we're not going to meet the 30 grand limitation, but in about 3-4 years, get a Morgan 3-wheeler.
Ah.
And
Like
you-
yours.
Yeah, but that's not a
Two
car.
of your cars.
We're not
Yes.
doing trikes under 30.
By the way, what does your Morgan three-wheeler have in common with a Corvette C4?
They
a C4
both use
Corvette?
wood. The Corvette has got a bunch of ash in the
Balsa?
balsa wood. Is that right?
Yeah, they use a balsa wood, some
Core.
kind of balsa wood core for the
Yeah.
body. Yeah.
Very
And-
advanced for its time, sadly enough.
Yeah.
But, you know, it was there.
And I have an ash frame,
You have an ash frame?
painted ash.
You've painted your ash, you
Painted
say.
ash.
Anyway,
right.
that's Road Testament for today.
Thanks for coming down.
Yeah, Eric.
Yeah.
Eric
We're
Rivera
going to see you on Thursday.
from GT Academy.
Thanks
Don't
for
forget
having
to, since it is Thursday,
Yes.
watch tonight,
Check it out. There's
Spike TV.
A lot of footage of me out of breath. It'll be
11:30
Oh, yeah.
p.m. probably,
That's what
depending on
Petraeus said,
where you
too.
live. Petraeus.
Want to see some footage of me out of breath?
nice.
See you guys later.